Yo, how's it going? Delrith here, bringing you the news for the week of November 21st. I don't think we'll be able to get another news app before Thanksgiving, so for all you Americans, I'll say happy Thanksgiving right now, and we will jump right into the news. I am totally alone today.
Alone.
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 Alone. Alone.
Maxie has gotten very sick and has tonsillitis or something like that, and sounds like he smokes crack, so he won't be here, and Godfoot's currently busy, so I will be doing this on my own. No biggie. First up in the news, I think this is probably the most shocking thing that we've ever discussed on this channel. The AWP has been nerfed in CSGO. I repeat again, the AWP has been nerfed. Now, for anyone that knows what the AWP is, it is the most powerful weapon in Counter-Strike. It's been the, I guess, the quintessential iconic weapon of the game for the last 15-20 years, and it was a one-shot kill god. It's pretty much gone untouched since the launch of CSGO and a bunch of previous titles, and it's just crazy to see that it has been nerfed. Specifically, though, the AWP's magazine size has been cut in half, from 10 to 5. Valve announced the news alongside the release of the latest patch. It also lowers the M4A1's effectiveness at range and removed Dust 2 from the current active duty map pool, which, by the way, can I just say you should never remove Dust and Dust 2? Like, they're good maps, but I just felt like this was a good article to start with, because if there were any constants in life, it was the AWP not being changed and taxes and I guess death. And now that the AWP has changed, everything has been thrown into complete chaos and we don't know what's going on anymore. Obviously, it's not going to make it any worse. I think the fact that you could kill 5 people with one round instead of 10 people with one round when enemy teams consist of 5 people makes perfect sense. It will just mean that you have to reload every now and then more often if you miss your shots, and who knows, maybe that'll leave openings for pro games to be more impressive. Maybe it'll push the AWP down lower. I don't know. All I know is that it's just unbelievable they would have the gall to change something like this so crazy without even thinking of the ripple effect in the universe. Next up, we need to talk about how the Sonic co-creator Yuji Naka among the former Square Enix employees arrested over Dragon Quest related insider trading. They are alleged to have bought stock in a developer's right before the public announcement it would make a Dragon Quest spinoff. Now, for anyone who doesn't know what insider trading is, it's essentially buying stock in a company that you know will be launching its stock to further prices based on information that only you would be privy to, or a small number of people would be privy to. A good example of this would be like, say, you know, I don't know, like Warframe was going to be bought out by Microsoft or something, and the stock in Digital Extremes was going to skyrocket. Say they weren't alone. If you knew this and were privately aware of this information, if you were to dump all your stock into, you know, Warframe or into Microsoft or into Digital Extremes or whatever you would end up doing, if you knew it was going to skyrocket before you did that and you bought it, that would be called insider trading, and that is illegal. Same thing happens where if you know a company's going to bomb and you sell all your stock before it does. And the original story, though, is on November 17th. Automaton, the Japanese outlet, is it Automaton? Yes, it is, reported that 2 Square Enix employees have been arrested by Tokyo police on suspicion of insider trading. The TLDR is that they knew that there was going to be a mobile spin-off coming for Dragon Quest called Dragon Quest Tact, and they had bought stock in the company that was going to be making it before it came out. They were, Sasaki and Suzuki were allegedly aware of Amenco's unannounced collaboration with Square Enix through internal sources when they purchased 47 million yen, around $335,000 worth of Amenco stock. Given the Dragon Quest series' massive popularity, especially in Japan, that investment would presumably have a massive payoff, with Amenco's value increasing as soon as the high-profile project was announced. And $335,000, don't get me wrong, is not an unbelievable amount of money, but the idea of insider trading is still really shady, and the fact that, you know, that's life-changing money for a lot of people. The fact that the guy that worked on or Sonic co-creator Yuji Naka was one of the ones that did it is just a little disappointing, I guess. And usually these things in the gaming industry are a lot crazier. Usually when you hear about insider trading, it's like tens of millions of dollars. I mean, just look no further than a lot of government people doing it with a lot of things because they know it's going to get passed. But yeah, it's just crazy that they would go and do this. And I believe there's definitely going to be some repercussions for those individuals. Obviously, they're going to either lose the stocks or lose the money involved. And Japan doesn't take that sort of stuff lightly, so there will most likely be prison sentences and fines and all this other stuff to come with. And it is absolutely a financial crime. So it is worth mentioning that Yuji Naka made Balan Wonderworld, which is probably one of the worst games I've ever played in a very long time, and honestly might even be considered a war crime. So maybe this is just karma for putting that out into the universe. We got a little bit of a surprise this week with the Team Ninja boss seemingly confirming that Ninja Gaiden and Dead or Alive reboots are being made. There was a panel going on where they were showing off a bunch of slide panels and a bunch of information and whatnot for South Korea's G-Star conference this weekend. Team Ninja's president was showing slides, and in the final slide of his presentation, the event showed that there was a screenshot featuring Ryu and Kasumi respectively. In Japanese, the text read, "The future of Team Ninja reboot of popular series." He said he couldn't say much more than that and that there wouldn't be much details about that. But it does, in fact, seem like there's going to be a complete reboot of Ninja Gaiden and Dead or Alive. Whether or not these reboots will be like a reboot of the franchise as a whole with new universe, with new stories, everything like that, or whether or not they're just going to be like a remake in the sense of a reboot, we don't know. I personally would be okay with a reboot of Ninja Gaiden and like starting a whole new story, kind of like how they did with Shadow Warrior. I have no real personal opinions on Dead or Alive, but it would be nice to see Ninja Gaiden getting a breath of fresh life, because honestly, great series, tons of fun, and modernizing it would be pretty cool. One final thing before we end this article is that there are rumors apparently circulating that Platinum Games, the people that made Nier Automata and Babylon's Fall, is set to helm development, but we will just have to take those with a pinch of salt because, again, there's not a lot of information out. But it would be cool because Nier was fantastic, and I think Nier is one of the most well-received RPGs and or action RPGs that have been released in the last 5-10 years. So hey, it would be cool to see the team that worked on Nier release the reboot of Ninja Gaiden. Personally, now I want to talk about the fact that Gearbox, which is owned by 2K, has bought out Risk of Rain, and the fans are already doom posting. Now, don't get me wrong, Gearbox has done some bad stuff in the past or been responsible for the fall of some games, but they've been okay recently, as far as I know. They've been really pushing Homeworld. We've got Homeworld 3 coming out, and Gearbox owns Blackbird Interactive, which is the company that's working on it. Risk of Rain is a fantastic game, and I don't possibly see them screwing it up because they know how good it is. As a huge Risk of Rain fan, I'm really hopeful that this ends up being a positive thing. Hapu Games, I believe is how you say that, they didn't really have a lot to say about this other than saying that it's excellent news because they'll be able to go further and better beyond than they've ever done before. And they did elaborate that it meant more Risk of Rain, whether or not meaning more Risk of Rain, it also means better Risk of Rain. One statement is that Gearbox had better hope it knows what it's doing with the series because the news was mostly greeted with trepidation by fans. Understandably, the indie developer Hopu,
Keep Pop Anonymous?
that's always been hard for me to say, has been really strong in making a lot of really good titles and making people happy. And I guess people are just worried that a massive publisher like Gearbox will do nothing but meddle in what the core game has to offer. But having, like I said, known a couple of the devs at Gearbox, I feel like it'll be okay, and I don't see it possibly going down. But feel free to say, "I told you so, Dell, you're an idiot," if it does end up being a bad acquisition and they do hurt the game. They do want to bring the expansions and the content that's on PC over to consoles as their first order of business, and they do want to make more content for the game, and that is something that is confirmed that they want to do more, either expansions or make Risk of Rain 3 or something like that. We'll have to wait for announcements in that regard, but either way, at least we're going to see the franchise continue to move on and continue to grow. Whether or not it'll be the same quality, we'll just have to wait and find out. Next up, we need to talk about the Nintendo DMCAs for a third-party Steam image site where users go and they upload thumbnail art and art for games that are on Steam that you want to have custom art for, which caused users to upload even more artwork in response. For those of you that don't know, the website itself in question is SteamGridDB, which is a site for uploading and sharing of custom images for use in your Steam game library. It's worth clarifying that they do not host any ROMs, they do not host any piracy, there's no software sharing, none of that. It is just an image repository specifically for allowing you to get custom images, but Nintendo decided that that was way too far, and they sent cease and desists and DMCA strikes, demanding that they remove the images of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, Splatoon 3, Super Mario Odyssey, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, and Xenoblade Chronicles 3. Again, the site wasn't hosting any files related to the games themselves. You can't download ROMs or emulators or anything, but there were people that were using Steam to launch emulated or through other websites and other programs, which I can't name, to basically just have a custom thumbnail in their library. And if you wanted to do that, you could get artwork off Steam Grid DB to add to its library entry. So again, they were doing nothing but providing image hosting, and Nintendo decided, screw that, I don't want you to do that anymore, get out of here. The craziest thing though is that you could just do that through Google image search. So this just seems like Nintendo attacking everything related to any sort of emulating or piracy. We talked about it a while ago about how the craziest way to play your Nintendo Switch right now is on your Steam Deck, and I can't talk about it any more than that because Nintendo is extremely aggressive when it comes to that. Do a Google search if you want to find out how to do that. But yeah, they've been really threatened by the fact that the Steam Deck runs their games phenomenally well compared to the Switch itself, and it's fairly easy to run them on the Switch. So you can understand why they're really upset at Steam and anything related to Steam that has those games or updates those games or lets you do pictures for those games or anything along the way. Predictably, of course, users uploaded even more artwork in response. Just thousands and thousands of pictures, obviously to poke fun at Nintendo's DMCAs, and of course every other game that they were talking about. Specifically, Breath of the Wild is apparently the craziest one right now. Every other game is getting flooded, and Nintendo is issuing more stuff and doing more takedowns, and it just seems like a weird thing for Nintendo to do. We don't know whether or not it'll escalate any further, whether or not Nintendo will go even more litigious in their actions to take down this stuff. But as it is right now, they just seem to be attacking everyone related to any sort of emulator for the Steam Deck or your desktop or PC, Switch gaming, any of that, because it's not doing very well. This is also right after the release of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, which, by the way, run like total dog shit on the console, dropping down to like 5 frames at times for no reason. So it's a bit weird that it almost seems like they knew people were going to go and play these games on an emulator and play them on the Steam Decks and use this website rather than playing on the Switch because of the performance. That might be reaching a little, but it does seem a little weird that coincidentally these things happened around the same time. Overall, though, that's going to be it for the news this week. It's a short episode, not a lot of stuff happened, and we are doing the whole Doom entry thing. If the video's not up already, it will be up soon. The whole Mick Gordon id Games song and soundtrack controversy that was talked about, we have a standalone video for that. But there's always a prompt for what I want you to comment down below, and I just want you all to comment your favorite color this week. I don't want any context. Anyone that doesn't get to the point in this video won't understand it, but I just want you to go and say your favorite color down below. Nothing else. Just if you like blue, just say blue. If you like red, just say red. Nothing else in the comment. Just spam the crap out of the comment section with that. And of course, in a separate comment, if you have any comments about the articles this week or thought I missed anything that we should talk about next week, please go right ahead and leave a comment down below. As always, like the video, share it with people, subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed to the channel. And until the next video, this is Delrith, and I'll be seeing you. Bye.